Vigilante Killer, Hercules, Bangladesh's Dark Knight, who rose up to avenge the victims of gang rape, and then disappeared into the shadows. Hercules. In 2019, Bangladesh's very own vigilante rose up like the Dark Knight to seek vengeance for the beleaguered people of Bangladesh. I host a South Asian podcast and did an episode on this case early on. January 7th. The first murder by Hercules. This instance of vigilantism was the first of the series. The body found with fatal gunshot wounds was that of Ripon, 39, a key suspect in the gang rape and murder of a female worker from a garment factory in Savor, on the outskirts of the capital city Dhaka. This was the first time a chilling note had appeared around the neck of a murder victim. It simply said, "I am the prime accused in a rape case." The rape case being referenced by the note occurred in the early hours of January 7th. A 18-year-old girl was found dead in her house in Ashulia's Barun area, just hours after she had filed a case with Ashulia police station against Ripon and 3 other co-workers for raping her. The age of the victim is misreported as 14, 15 and 18 inches, several different news articles. Let's just say she was a minor. Later the girl's father filed another case with Ashulia police station, accusing Ripon and the 3 others of murdering his daughter. The details of this sexual assault victim's death are not published. The cause of death was undetermined. It is uncertain if she succumbed to injuries sustained during the assault, or if she took her own life. January 26th. Body discovered with a note from Hercules. On Saturday, January 26, 2019, a male body is found lying face down in the paddy fields of Boltala village in Cathalia. He had a fatal gunshot wound under his left eye, near his ear. He was left clear out in the open to be discovered by the unsuspecting villagers. There were also injuries that could have been caused by hacking with a sharp weapon. The murder seemed to have been committed in the late hours of the previous night, or early hours of Saturday. This may have played out as just another violent crime, if there hadn't been a very curious and shocking note left on the victim. The note was a white piece of paper, encased in clear plastic. The following words were printed in Bangla and said, "I am Sajal. I am the rapist of..." Victim's name is redacted. "This is my punishment." Sajal Jomada, 28, was one of 2 people accused of raping an 18-year-old victim on January 14, 2019. The victim was a madrasa student and was walking to her grandparents' home in Bandaria for a visit when she was accosted by the 2 men, who then forced her into a dark corner and sexually assaulted her. February 1st. Another body discovered with a note from Hercules. On Friday, February 1st, 2019, the male body was discovered near a brick hill in Rajapur, which is about 15 miles from Cathalia, where Sajal was found. Just like Sajal, this body also had a fatal gunshot wound and appeared to be beaten up. This body was of Rakib Mullah, 20, a law student studying in a private university of Dhaka. Rakib was the other prime accused in the rape of the same 18-year-old victim in Bandaria. The eerie note made an appearance again this time, with a chilling warning. "I am Rakib. I am the rapist of a madrasa girl, victim's name redacted, of Parojpur Bandarias. This is the punishment for rape. Rapists beware. Hercules." The victim of the January 14th assault had returned home and told her family about the incident. 2 days later, on January 17th, her father lodged a case of rape against Sajal and Rakib at the Bandaria police station. A week later, Sajal's body is found, and 2 weeks later, Rakib's body is found. Hercules' victim Sajal's father Shah Alam Jomadar lodged a case with Cathalia police station over his son's murder on January 26. The rape victim's father has been named prime accused in the case, he said. Citing the first information report, the cop in charge said Sajal was kidnapped on January 22 from Dhaka, and then his body was discovered 4 days later in Cathalia. Who is Hercules? Crimes against women and children are overwhelmingly rampant in Bangladesh. In 2019, 79 cases were registered in January alone, around the time these extrajudiciary murders occurred. Not really seeing any indication that these murders had too much effect on rape crimes in Bangladesh. Were the murders the work of a citizen vigilante, or a policeman who had seen enough and taken it upon himself to resolve these cases in a brutal way, just to send a message? It could also be the work of a group of people. It would not have been easy to handle these alleged rapists one-on-one. Especially since all the shots were to the head, which could not have been possible if the men were fighting or running away. To me, it appears that the men were held down by multiple people and then shot at close range. Keep in mind that in Asia guns are not as ubiquitous as they are in North America. I wish we had more info about the caliber of bullets and such, so we could speculate about who could have such a type of gun. But sadly no such info has been made public. I suspect this is because it was the work of law enforcement. It is entirely possible that Law was sick and tired of being one-upped by politicians and other powerful influencers who bail out such criminals time and time again. Another big question is, why did Hercules stop? Crime still occurs to this day, but Hercules was never heard from again. Again, my guess is that Law handled the matter internally to save face. Public reactions. Human rights groups condemned these murders, calling these extrajudiciary actions as detrimental to the balance of law and order, and a blow to the right to due process, even for the harshest criminals. Mizana Rahman, the former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, says, "There is nothing to be delighted about with the emergence of Hercules. This kind of secret killing cannot make anything better. It is a cunning tactic to get support from a section of people." The very fact that the executions were carried out so swiftly, and so soon after the cases were filed, is disconcerting to say the least. There was no time for a full investigation, trial or conviction even. Did Hercules even try to confirm the allegations? I hope they did. I hope they at least did some DNA testing, because I can somewhat celebrate the eradication of violent rapists, but I hate to think that they could have been innocent. A sharp contrast to this is the reaction of the general public, who absolutely love Hercules and hail him as a savior and punisher for the millions of victims who lose their dignity, their livelihoods, relationships, and even their lives running pillar to post in search of some justice. Why Hercules? There is no way to know unless we find this vigilante, or vigilantes, and ask them, but we can guess, I suppose. It isn't likely that he is named after the Greek demigod Hercules, but obviously I can't be sure, it very well could be. There was a Bengali movie released in 2014 by the name Hercules. The main protagonist in the story is a puny, submissive man who has very little going for him. Then one day he wakes up with a moustache and superpowers with which he beats up his aggressors. This does sound like a likely inspiration for the name, doesn't it? What do you think about this case and who Hercules could be? Are their actions justified in any way if you take into consideration the environment in which they live?